Alright, what's Chimpin Fam Squad? It's your boy, back at it again, as always. Excuse me. So this is Harry Toenail versus Pack, SPL, week something, UU, and the only connection I have to this game is that I EV'd another fucking Pearl Lax for like the 5 millionth time, because that's just my job now. Rough start where Chandelure Fire Blast burnt the Mamoswine, which looked to do some pretty nice work to a team like this. Obviously, I like Mamoswine, big fan of more aggressive Pokemon. Harry Toenail has a pretty interesting team. I mean, obviously, it has a bit of a reliance on what looks to be a defogging Empoleon on something that is a bit more offensive in nature, but I like where he's going with this, and the use of Crobat in particular I think is really cool because it is a criminally underappreciated Pokemon in this metagame. There are some really significant grass types that you want to be covering, and its speed tier is just super nice right now, even if Aerodactyl is as omnipotent as it has ever been. So Aerodactyl comes in, some aggressive plays from Chandelure, really getting a hell of a lot of value out of what looks to be kind of just like a really so-so matchup for a presumed Scarf Chandelure. I mean, it has to be at this point. And, of course, Aerodactyl showing Earthquake is a real big nail in the coffin for him because he's using Empoleon to primarily check that, and depending on its investment, it can run like up to, I want to say like 70 to 80 from an Earthquake if he's hard Spadef, which I've never been an advocate of. I've always been saying, hey, you should really put in like a bunch of defense EVs on this Empoleon because, I mean, maybe you can handle like a Gigavolt Havoc from Latias from full, but it's just not worth it, man, even if a team like this looks like it has a bit of a difficult time getting through that situation, and it looks to be an Empoleon, the favorite matchup for everyone, and of course Pat getting the first burn is tough as hell, but this also indicates that neither are packing knockoff, because that is obviously the thing to go for in that situation. But we're going to be seeing the Lax come in, and this is tough because look at what Harry Toenail actually honestly ever had for a cursing Lax, and I can say right now that this is going to be oh, nice. Okay, so didn't go for the Toxic Scout. That is nice, considering again he doesn't have he did not show knockoff, so that is probably what's going on with that. And I guess they're just going to be chipping away at one another, but I think that HT should recognize at some point during this exchange, probably after he gets this burn, that this situation heavily favors Pack, and he should probably, call it quits there and go to his Raikou. But he doesn't seem to be, so that's interesting. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to set up here outside of... I can't imagine what he would be thinking this values him heavier for, because now in this situation, he's got a Aerodactyl that he's forced to revenge kill rather than conventionally check in any manner. He's got a Lax, which if it curses up on the Raikou or what have you, it's just going to require you to fodder a couple guys and bank on crits. Whereas if his Empoleon goes down, it means, oh, I have to go to my Swampert instead of my Empoleon on your Arrow, or oh, I have to go to my Arrow rather than my Empoleon on your Crobat. It's not something that really gives him headway in any really meaningful way, and of course his inability to throw a Tox on Lax is the biggest one, but it's just, I don't think it's a good look for him. I feel like this will hurt him more than help him. We will see as it goes through, because, I mean, it looks like they're committed to the sequence at this point. I mean, really keeping the fodder isn't any good for him, and they're starting to encroach upon, torrent-boosted skull levels of damage, and now at this point, like, the Raikou doesn't even want to switch in at all. So I figure we're just going to be seeing the Empoleon trade right now. And I guess that Pox has been crapped a bit more. Nope, they are just speed time. They have run no investment, which is, come on, man. Creep it a little, why not? But we're going to be seeing the Aerodactyl Revenge Kill. I don't see any reason why. He can just go to forward, yeah. Actually, if it's just hard speed F, yeah, that eats for nothing. And he gets a free ass Scald, and even if he brings in pretty much anything, he can just fodder off the or rocks, also good. But yeah, he can fodder off the Empoleon here if he's familiar with the damage, which I believe that is in fact banded. Yeah, people aren't running the Normalium Z belly drum enough, and even then I guess there's the Breloom, which eats all but a crit Aqua Jet. So that is that. And I mean, this is now very tough. I think that HT kind of has to harden to his own arrow, expecting him to either dodge the Stone Edge or make the safe Earthquake play. Yeah, there. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's technically very high risk and he shouldn't need to go for it, but it's kind of just something that, or not that he shouldn't need to go for it, but rather that he has to bank off him making the very safe play. And yeah, he goes for the player off to get off the damage. Good play. He's conscious of what he needs to do to win, and it's obviously, playing off some odds. But will it be enough? I feel as though it will not. And judging from the fact that his Mamoswine didn't show a Z move, this might very well be have been. Rather, the Mamoswine didn't show Life Orb. It might indicate that it is a Z move variant, which would be all the worse for him because now his Raikou can't really punch through this with any kind of like Never-Ending Nightmare, Hyper Beam. It would also undercut its ability to push through a Lax if need be. So, got a bit of a situation going on here. I think that I mean, obviously Aerodactyl is really, really safe here, unless it's like Hypno Crobat, which I know that Mick Megan has theorized at times. But okay, yeah, he does go for that, and Harry Tono making the required plays to stay in the game. You have to respect that he's going for it, but at the same time, it's still tough as hell because he has to go to Arrow here. He has to present the rest of the Speed Tide, go for Earthquake to try to go for a roll to KO Swampert in 2. And then even after that, there's a whole lot of other shit that needs to be done. But okay, he does instead just go for the Breloom, which is totally safe at this point. Free Mach Punch. It won't KO Aerodactyl most of the time. I think that Life Orb variants might, though honestly I've seen very little, if any, of the Life Orb Loom recently. It might be though. Like a team like this, it has a very weird approach to handling like an Amoonguss balance. So I'm not sure if he just wasn't expecting one, or he is teched on this Loom to handle it. Something like an SD normal Loom might be something of, or a natural gift. I did not consider the implications of a natural gift, but I mean, like, this is going to be the Z move holder if he ever cares to utilize it in any capacity. So that might be that there. In which case, Mach Punch will not KO. Still, it would be important because, of course, he would be dead to Stealth Rock, and he would have to hard switch his Crobat into a Scald. But no, he's going for that safer play, and, well, safer in the sense that he is not risking it being a Life Orb Bloom. And does he have to go for Defog here? I would imagine it. I mean, it could be. I don't know. Like, Empoleon could be Stealth Rock Defog. It's a bit of a clunky Pokemon in my eyes, but I understand that there is some necessity for it on teams such as this, and I think that he kind of just caved here, because Brave Bird into that, he can just go for, I mean, pretty much anything. Gracious. He's only shown Earthquake, but we are to assume it has Stone Edge, and probably, like, Ice Fang doesn't even feel good here. I don't feel like that would be Ice Fang. Maybe a Fire Fang. Oh, but he does have it, though. I mean, if you're really worried about, like, an SD Gliscor, and I know that Gliscor is, like, a really common bounce facet, but I don't think that this team is in any way greatly hindered by its presence on the board. Still, that's alright. Goes to Pert. It's pretty safe at this point, given that, there's other tools for Raikou, unless it's, I mean, I can't imagine he said, is there a Z move that boosts speed and can convincingly play into that? I don't think so. So we're just going to see the game end here, unless there's some crazy Z move I'm not conscious of. And, yeah. He goes, yep, just leftover. So he goes to Arrow. EQ might be a roll, but honestly, even after that, there's just the Lax, which takes anyone hit. So that's going to be the game. Definitely the Fire Blast affected things. I really think that it would have impacted his maneuverability as far as punishing the Swampert and trying to get something out of that. So that's a bit of a shame. But still an interesting game all the same. Congratulations to Pack. He's doing pretty well this season. And I don't think he played badly, but it just kind of cut into the impact of some of HT's plays. I hope that you enjoyed, though. I think this was pretty interesting. And I will catch you around next time, guys. Deuces.